Hey there, beard lovers. Hope the new year's treating you pretty well. I've been enjoying the holidays here and, you know, bearding. Today's episode's going to be a fun one. I got a little fun video planned for you. It's going to be the start of a segment on this channel about the power of beards. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of beards and their relation to wizards. Obviously, there are a lot of depictions of very powerful wizards that have long, flowing beards, and there's a lot of speculation as to why wizards are so commonly drawn and shown with these long beards. And one of the reasons is actually because authors and artists and illustrators had to come up with a way to show a wizard that was easily recognizable. Sometimes, especially back, silent films, things like that, somebody would be on screen and you'd want to know that they were a wizard, but they didn't really have a way of portraying it too well based on clothing or anything, and so it ended up being, for a lot of people, that the long flowing beard was a recognizable symbol for a wizard, and that was why they gave them long beards. Another reason, and I think is the best reason, is that the beard is the source of a wizard's power. The longer the beard, the more powerful the wizard. Beards are incredible things, and it would not surprise me if they gave people awesome magical powers. Another speculation, and of course this one is probably a little more realistic than the others, is that wizards would just quit shaving. They felt that it was a time waster. It was useless and took them away from their research or whatever practice, whatever arcane thing they were studying at the time. So they would just quit shaving, and over the years grew these very long beards. Also, it could be the source of wisdom. Stroking a beard is proven to give you infinite wisdom, and wizards are supposedly wise people. Just figured out the meaning of life. It's 42, if you were wondering. So I'd like to talk about a couple famous wizards that most people will recognize. Some of them are beloved characters from childhood novels and popular films. Others are actual people that weren't necessarily wizards, or not in real life anyway, because obviously we know wizards are a pretty fictional thing as far as we know at this moment. The first wizard I'd like to talk about is Albus Dumbledore. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's the headmaster of the Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry in the Harry Potter series. I'm going to be talking mostly about the actor that they had play in the first Harry Potter film, The Sorcerer's Stone. He unfortunately passed away between the first one and the second one, and they had to find a different actor to play Dumbledore. But who did an awesome job. Don't get me wrong, he did a wonderful job as Dumbledore. However, the first one was my favorite. He portrayed Dumbledore exactly as I felt he would be after having read the novels, which, if you have not read them, if you haven't seen the movies, you should. They're amazing, and probably one of my favorite series. But Dumbledore, in the Harry Potter world, is supposedly the most powerful wizard. He is the headmaster of the school, obviously, so he's very skilled, very knowledgeable, very wise. And if you'll recall, in the first film, in the first book, after Harry and his friends are coming back from the detention in the Dark Forest, and Harry comes into contact with you-know-who, and is very shaken up by this interaction that he's had with Voldemort. Hermione comforts him by saying, "Hey, Dumbledore is here. You know who's not going to come here as long as Dumbledore is here, because he is the only wizard that Voldemort's afraid of." And I think this really says a lot about Dumbledore. Obviously, he has a really long beard, and that insinuates great power behind Dumbledore, great magical ability. And as we see in the later films, look at Voldemort. There's not a hair on his face. There's no way he could hold his own against Dumbledore. Dumbledore would kick his ass. So that is, that's what my theory behind why Voldemort's afraid. Dumbledore's got a beard. Beard means magic. The next wizard I'd like to talk about is Gandalf from The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Haven't seen these films, read those books. Again, another series I highly recommend. Here's a guy, and Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White are both very powerful wizards, and they both have very long beards. And again, the beard could be the source of their magic, or maybe he just didn't feel like shaving. I can understand that. Obviously, back in those days, they didn't have safety razors. They didn't have electric razors. It was straight razors, which were, a dagger you had. The dagger the blacksmith made for you 20 minutes ago. So they didn't really have comfortable shaving. So I could understand why. Also, shaving is useless. So, Gandalf, he starts off as Gandalf the Grey, and he's very powerful. He takes a Balrog down, dropping a bridge out from under him. Unfortunately, this Balrog is not going down without a last hoorah, grabs him with his fire whip, and pulls him down into this abyss. And we see later that Gandalf is fighting it on the side of a mountain, and kills it. But of course, he's severely wounded, and he's on the verge of death. But he's got this magnificent beard, and because of the beard and all of the power it's absorbed and the experience he's gotten from fighting this Balrog, resurrects him. And so he levels up. Gandalf the Grey is now Gandalf the White. He evolved, and his magic abilities went up 500%, and his beard grew white. Pure white, very magnificent, and now he is even more powerful than Gandalf the Grey, and has more power within that beard. So we can see, obviously there is definite significance placed on the beard of Gandalf, and especially as he comes in as Gandalf the White, you can see it's a little well maintained. So perhaps not shaving isn't just lack of hygiene. I think not shaving, they probably also tried to keep good care of it, because it's on your face. If it gets dirty, it's the same thing as your face getting all dirty. So you can see he's a little more white, more clean looking as Gandalf the White. Definitely more powerful. Next wizard I'd like to talk about is a beloved fictional character that appears in multitudes of stories, Merlin. This is a guy who is remembered and recognized for his beard. Have you ever heard the phrase, Merlin's beard, by Merlin's beard? This is a guy who's remembered, who a phrase has sprung up specifically about his beard. Obviously, there is something magnificent about that beard if people are remembering him for his beard and have these phrases based on his beard. He's a powerful wizard. You can read numbers of stories. There's a series about Merlin in his youth. You can see The Sword and the Stone, great animated film, one of my childhood favorites. And Merlin's in that one. Not quite as serious as Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. It's a Disney animated film. Very good humor. But he's a powerful wizard in that as well, and has a great long beard. So, again, we see these wizards with long beards. Now, the last guy I'd like to talk about, not necessarily a wizard in some respects. In Harry Potter world he is, but it was actually based off of a real-life person who lived in the medieval days. Nicholas Flamel, the famed alchemist who supposedly created the Philosopher's Stone and discovered the elixir of life through the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, for those of you who are Harry Potter fans. So this is a guy who discovered the trick to immortality, and he's said, at least in Harry Potter, he's 700 something. I can't remember what the exact number they said was, but he's old. He should have been dead. He's not, because of the Philosopher's Stone, and they say, they just destroy the stone, he's gonna die. This also says something, because many depictions of Flamel, he also has a beard. What I took away from this, beards are the elixir of life. Take a beard, you can make a Philosopher's Stone. But that's just my opinion. But he was an actual person, an actual alchemist in medieval times. Again, rumored to have discovered the elixir of life. He died, and his buddies checked his grave a few days later, and it was empty. So nobody knows. He could still be walking among us. There have been rumored sightings at an opera in Paris in the 1700s. Who knows? Nicholas Flamel could still be alive and just hasn't shared the elixir of life with the rest of us. Probably waiting for us all to grow beards so that there's enough for all of us. So if you want to live forever, grow a beard. That's all I got for you. Hope you have a great start to your new year. Any questions for me? Comments? Leave them in the comment section below. Facebook me, email me. Whatever you need to do, get me those questions. I'll try to answer them as best I can. Have a great day.